If you work with business owning families, a pattern emerges. Most families do not fail because of markets or a bad deal. They fail quietly through governance blind spots that compound over time. Today, I want to walk you through the three governance mistakes that I see most often across family enterprises, operating businesses, and family offices, and why even the very successful families fall into them. This is not theoretical, and my experience is drawn from boardrooms, investment committees, and multiple conversations I've had with families over the years. For context, I come into this from a blended background: commercial lending, risk management, operating businesses and real assets, and performing board advisory work with families. And what I have learned is simple: good governance is not about control, but it is about clarity, resilience, and continuity. And yet, most families underestimate it until it sometimes breaks. So, mistake number one that I most frequently encounter is confusing trust with governance. Families often say we trust each other. We don't want to formalize things. We do not want to create friction. Trust is essential, of course, but trust alone is not a system. In operating businesses, this shows up as unclear decision rights, blurred roles between ownership, management, and the family, assumptions replacing accountability at times. And in family offices, it also shows up as investment decisions made without a clear framework, no defined escalation path, especially when conflict arises, risks being discussed emotionally rather than strategically. Strong governance does not mean distrust. It means that you're protecting relationships by reducing ambiguity. Trust should be the starting point. Governance is what protects it over time. The second most frequently encountered mistake, in my experience, is waiting too long. Many families assume that governance becomes important after a liquidity event occurs, after generational transitions occur or begin, after complexity increases. But in reality, that is when governance becomes harder and not easier. I often say this at the board level: you do not install seat belts after an accident. In operating businesses, delayed governance leads to, for example, founder bottlenecks, sibling conflict, strategic analysis paralysis during growth or distress. In family capital structures, it leads to poor liquidity planning, misaligned risk tolerance and objectives, reactive decision making under pressure. Governance works best when built ahead of inflection points, not during them. Mistake number three that I've most frequently encountered over the years is treating governance as a one and done exercise. Families create, for example, the family constitution or a shareholder agreement or the board charter, and then they put it in a binder, in a drawer, and it collects dust. Governance is not paperwork, it's a living system. As businesses evolve, as capital grows, as generations step in, governance must evolve too. Effective families revisit governance regularly. Decision frameworks, risk tolerance, succession readiness, capital allocation principles. This is especially critical in volatile environments where static rules may fail to capture dynamic risk. So, I want to leave you with these parting thoughts. If there is one takeaway from today, it is this: governance is not about restricting families, it is about protecting optionality instead. The strongest families that I work with clarify roles early, address risk explicitly, treat governance as an ongoing conversation and not a compliance task and a binder. And if this resonated even a little bit, I invite you to subscribe to Family Enterprise Perspectives for more conversations on governance, risk, and long term stewardship. Share one takeaway from this video in the comments below. And if you would like to continue the conversation more privately, feel free to connect with me one on one. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me.